to stay true to himself, be kind to others, and stay positive when things got tough. Kirby Ximiano. And introducing Caroline Cloes. Passionate about leadership, she has served as sophomore class vice president, junior class president, and now ASB president. Caroline's favorite Wilcox memories include folding tissue paper flowers in her garage during homecoming, bruising her knees from skin the snake practice, and losing her voice from cheering loudly at sport events. She would like to thank her parents and the Wilcox teachers for preparing her for the future and wishes her classmates a memorable senior year. Kirby Ximiano and Caroline Close. Next up, Jonathan Nguyen and Anna Neely. Tuxedo and highlight, glamour and bling, Jonathan Nguyen is doing his thing. To start off, Jonathan has passionately been involved on the sideline cheer team and the competitive competition cheer team for the last 2 years. Aside from school, Jonathan can be found playing with makeup, hanging out with his friends, listening to Ariana Grande, and shopping with the money he doesn't have. Jonathan would like to thank his family, friends, cheer, coaches, and especially his sister Samantha for their constant support. This here is the glowing Jonathan Nguyen. Escorting the lovely Anna Neely. Standing at a towering 5'3" and 3/4 inches, but 5'5" on the roster, assisted by her full head of hair, Anna Neely dunks again. A familiar refrain during basketball games. To begin with, Anna's been heavily involved in the girls' basketball team while at Wilcox. Anna has a goal of creating a more positive, relaxed, and overall happy environment with her slogan, "Every time is a good time," and her beloved thumbs up. Anna would like to thank her family, friends, and coaches for their never-ending support and guidance, especially to her best friends, Kylie Fiawi and Omar Wences, for sticking by her side. Jonathan Nguyen and Anna Neely. And now, your homecoming king and homecoming queen, King Ethan Rowland, and your homecoming queen for the class of 2019, Claire Dong. Ethan's high school experience is mostly revolving around annoying people with his ukulele and melodica while singing without hitting a single note. His grandma was the last Rowland family member to be homecoming queen, while his other grandma is the great-great-great-great-granddaughter of an actual king of Vietnam, Minh Mang. Ethan has played golf for a while for Wilcox, but he stopped because he got bored. Now he spends his time watching anime and playing games with his lovely buddies. With him, he carries the message that gaming is for cool kids. And your homecoming queen, Claire Dong. On February 7, 2001, Claire Dong was born and has since been sharing her carefree personality with all those around her. In her 4 years at Wilcox, Claire has been active in student government, in sports, running and playing soccer, and running track. Claire would like to thank her mom, dad, and sister, Joy, for always supporting her endeavors, no matter how crazy. Also, shout out to all the classes for a great last homecoming, and especially the class of 2019 for all the fun times and memories. If there's one thing she's learned in high school, it's that life goes by pretty fast. So spend it doing what you love with the people you love. Claire Dong and Ethan Rowland, your class of 2019 homecoming king and queen. Let's have a big round of applause for the entire homecoming court.
Okay, sounds good. Got it. Yeah, if you could do me a favor, just give me a cue as to when you want Paul and I to start talking. That would help us a lot. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fitzpatrick Field in Santa Clara, California. Homecoming 2018 for your Wilcox Chargers. And what a highly anticipated matchup we have for you this evening, as they will be hosting the Palo Alto Vikings, making the trip down the highway from 101 just up the peninsula. Very highly anticipated game. Both teams coming in at 5-0 and looking to jockey for position to take home the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League DeAnza Division title. But first things first, it is this matchup here for homecoming night for the Black and Gold. Philip Kern alongside my broadcast partner, Paul Russell. Thank you very much for joining us. We are just getting set for everything as far as all the homecoming festivities are concerned. They've just done the floats around the track. They've introduced the homecoming court, and they have just brought the band out onto the track. They will be playing the national anthem shortly. So we will be having that for you here, and we will be stepping away as soon as they begin playing, but we may have a couple of seconds to talk about this matchup briefly. And really, Paul, when you look at this matchup on paper, this may be the toughest matchup that Wilcox has had since their season opener against Valley Christian. But nevertheless, a lot of the fans here, especially on the Wilcox side of things, they're very energetic, and it's for very good reason. The first half of this season has gone probably better than they have even imagined.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, Phil. They've had blowouts their first 5 games. They've outscored their opponents roughly 4-1 in all 5 games. But I think, as we were talking before the broadcast, this really could decide, the league title right here tonight. This is going to be their biggest test. Palo Alto, more of a passing team. They tend to pass the ball about twice as often as they run it. Wilcox has had that just dynamic duo in the backfield that has lit up the turf. And, Adami's shown some arm here this season, and he's been able to come up with a bunch of clutch throws. So look for Wilcox to mix it up, and it should be a really great game. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yeah, as have I. You were talking about Alex Adame. He was one of the big question marks for this Wilcox offense about how they would perform. Of course, we talked about it a lot leading up to this matchup here. How would he perform with the graduation of David Hernandez, and it actually seems that this Wilcox offense has taken on a little bit of a different identity. They're integrating a lot more of the pass game into it, and Adame has been quite good. He's brought a different feel to the quarterback position, but they are showing an effectiveness in moving the ball downfield. Paul Rosa's had a couple of big games already. Gabe Herrera has been his usual self. He's done quite well getting the tough yards. You've got great skill position players on the outside, but really the strength of this team was going to be the defense, and ironically, as well as the offense is played, the defense is really going to be in focus on this matchup. And then, of course, we can segue that into talking about the Palo Alto Vikings, who have had quite a turnaround under head coach Nelson Gifford. His first year at the helm of this program. He's actually an alum of Palo Alto, graduated in 1999, and what a turnaround he's had. Last year, this team went 3-8, and really disappointing by their standards because Palo Alto has always been one of the CCS powers, but they have had some down years. Nevertheless, Nelson Gifford has really turned things around. He's got a stellar quarterback in Jackson Crisp. He's got a great running back in Aiden Chang. He's got a dynamic outside threat in Jameer Shepard. So as you can probably imagine for this Wilcox Charger defense, this is probably going to be the stiffest test they faced in quite some time.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Phil. And as you and I were talking about before the game, I think that the key to Wilcox is going to be getting that penetration up front that they've had all year, because they've really owned the line of scrimmage, and putting some heat on the Palo Alto offense to get the ball off quickly. I think also, that their secondary, you pointed out they got a good couple of corners back there that have performed well all season. So, I think it'll be a great test for their defense, and certainly a big test for their offense to see if they can put up the kind of points that they're going to need to in this game.
Well, something else the offense is going to be needing to focus on tonight, especially, is taking care of the football. As much as we have talked about Palo Alto's offense, their defense has been very, very opportunistic. In these 5 games of the season, they have 8 sacks to their credit, and get this, 15 takeaways, and they are plus 14 in the turnover margin. So if that is of any indication, Wilcox's challenge is really going to be valuing every possession, because if you give this Palo Alto offense any extra possessions with the type of tempo that they play with and the type of scheme that they play with, they can really, really make it hurt.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And one of the things that you and I have talked about all season is the difficulty with Wilcox has been mistakes. Not only just losing the handle on the football, but they've also had trouble with penalties. And I think 2 weeks ago at Aragon, all of Aragon's scores came as a result of Wilcox penalties that kept drives alive that they shouldn't have. So, the couple things that Wilcox is going to have to do tonight is avoid those mistakes, because against an opponent that is as tough as Palo Alto, you can't give them anything.
Both teams have gone to their respective sidelines for their final pregame huddles, and as you can probably see, there is the Wilcox Chargers coming over to their sidelines. As, of course, you can also see the captains that will be going out there for the coin toss. It will be Ryan Cooper Jr., Paul Rosa, Rohan Pulivati, and Gabe Herrera, and really appropriate because those 4 young men have really been the cornerstones of all the success the Chargers have had this entire season. And with a game as pivotal as this one, and we talked about this before going on the air as well, Get Sports Focus is here. They made this their game of the week. And just another added wrinkle to this, both of these teams, according to the Max Preps California State rankings, they are both in the top 100. In fact, they're very close to each other in the 70s rankings as well. So as you can see, Palo Alto breaking their huddle as well. You can definitely see why there's a lot of anticipation for this one, because in the entire hierarchy of CCS leagues, the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League De Anza division is considered an A league. So this could really have a lot of ramifications as far as tonight's game goes as to how these 2 teams will fare as far as playoff positioning as well, which it's very interesting to think of, because we're already in the second half of the season. This is the finals Friday night of September, and wouldn't you know it, with October, now we got to turn our attention to the playoffs. Yeah,
that's absolutely correct, and I do agree with you. This could absolutely, settle the title for the De Anza League, because I think it's going to be a big night for them.
As you can see, both teams are heading out for the coin toss right at the Wilcox logo. This will give us an opportunity to introduce to you our officiating crew that will be manning all the festivities here tonight. Our head referee is Mike Gasvoda. Our umpire is Kevin Schott. Head linesman is Greg Sparks. Line judge is Bobby Hayes. And back judge is Craig Kersey. Wilcox in their traditional black uniforms with the yellow numbers, the yellow stripes on the shoulders, and the black pants as well, with their black helmets and the signature bolt along the sides. Palo Alto in their road whites with the green letters and numbers, a very traditional old school look. They got the green stripe all along the middle of their helmets with the green P on the sides of their helmets. And then even though they are referred to as Palo Alto, they're referred to as Pally for short. Clock just about to wind down here at Fitzpatrick Field as they are getting ready for the coin toss. The coin is in the air. As you can see, a big gust of wind pushing that American flag towards the south end zone. Wilcox has won the toss. They have decided to defer, so Palo Alto will get the ball first. So already we're going to see a very big test for this Wilcox defense on their opening drive.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. And, you know, I think that's sort of Wilcox's default, you know, if they win the toss, they almost always defer.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Paul likes to put his defense out on the field and make the other team come and get them.
Well, that'll wrap things up here for the pregame show on the Charter Sports Network. We will step away for the national anthem, and when we come back, we will have the opening kickoff between Palo Alto and Wilcox. Don't go away. Charger football is just moments away. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for football here at Fitzpatrick Field on the campus of Wilcox High School in Santa Clara. Your Wilcox Chargers taking on the Palo Alto Vikings. It's a very crisp autumn evening here, and it's, as like we mentioned, the final Friday night of the month of September. And wouldn't you know it, after this weekend, we will be turning our calendars to the month of October. But for the time being, we are ready for some football. Both teams at 5-0, 1-0 in league play. And with the way this division is shaping up, with the struggles that Milpitas has been going through, it's unexpectedly made this a wide open race. Right now, these two are the lead dogs, and they will be fighting for the lead position after tonight's festivities are all done. And we are very, very excited to bring it to you here on the Charter Sports Network. Wilcox will be kicking off from left to right. They will be kicking towards the south end zone, towards the Palo Alto return team, and that is going to be Jameer Shepard, who is back there for Palo Alto, along with Ignacio Henley to receive the kick. Here is Isaiah Flores, a left-footed kick. Boots this one away. This is going to go into the end zone, and it will be a touchback. So just like clockwork, Isaiah Flores showing the excellent leg that he has and sends it away out the back of the end zone. And we're going to get our first look at the Palo Alto offense. Let's go ahead and bring you the starters for this offensive unit. Starting at quarterback is the senior Jackson Chris. Starting running back is Aiden Chang. The starting wide receivers are Jameer Shepard, Walker Rosenthal, Paul Thai, and Lou Passarello is the starting tight end as well. And the offensive line from left to right will be Andrew Jimenez, Jackson Bundy, Alex Daw, Alberton Ruiz, and David Hickey. Here is Chris out of the shotgun. He will hand it off to Chang. He takes it around the left tackle side, and he is immediately pursued by that Wilcox defense, a defense that has been so stingy throughout this season. That was Pulavati leading the charge. Let's go ahead and give you the starting defense for the Wilcox Chargers. Alejandro Brizuela at defensive end, and Isaac Passett at the other end. Samuel Lolo and Aaron Abensay are at the interior for this Wilcox defensive line. Linebackers are Robert Padilla, Rohan Pulavati, and Ray Orozco. Starting secondary, Ryan Cooper Jr. and Aaron Osing at corner. Paul Rosa and Nick Malvini are at safety. 3-yard gain for Chang. 2nd and 7. Chris goes to the near sideline, finds his target in Shepard, and Cooper wraps him up immediately. A gain of 5 on that play. This will be 3rd and 2. They will need to get to the 30-yard line, and based on the marking of the official, that looks to be 3rd and a very, very short one. And already Palo Alto wasting no time. You will hardly ever see them go into a huddle.
Yeah, they've been really running that no huddle offense, and that was one of the things we knew to expect was a quick tempo game out of Palo Alto.
So 3rd and 1, they need to get to their own 30-yard line for a first down. Here is Chris once again in the shotgun. Handout up the middle to Chang. May have gotten enough for the first down, but I believe actually they're going to mark it short. I don't think he got much of anywhere. So credit that Wilcox front 7 for closing in immediately. And I believe that was Pulavati once again sticking his nose right in there and stopping Chang just short. And it will be 4th and 1, and the offense is going to stay on the field. Going with their traditional 3-wide set. Here is Chris once again in the shotgun. Chang is at his right hip, looking to the sideline for the signals from his head coach. Shepard is one-on-one with Cooper at the bottom of your screen. You'll definitely want to pay attention to that matchup right there. And it looks to be a little confusion. Some of the Palo Alto personnel coming onto the field a little earlier, and a flag comes in. And we will wait to see what the official call is, and it will be a delay of game on Palo Alto, so that will back them up 5 yards. It'll be 4th and 6. Either way, the Palo Alto punting unit is out on the field, and Wilcox will be fielding this punt as it comes away. This will be Cooper Jr. and Rosa back to receive the punt from Palo Alto, and I believe that is Tyler Fogue, who is back to receive the snap and punt this one away. It looks to be a little confusion here for Palo Alto as to who it needs to be on the field for this play. Guys coming in and out of the field. Here is the snap, and Fuchs sends this one away. A line drive kick. This is going to bounce right in front of both Rosa and Cooper, and they're going to let this one trickle down to the 42-yard line, and that is where the Wilcox offense will take over. So a good start for the Wilcox Chargers as they force Palo Alto to go 3 and out, and we're going to get our first look at the Wilcox offense, a unit that has been so dynamic. They put up points nearly at will pretty much against everybody. They put up 59 against Fremont High School Sunnyvale just last week, and they will definitely be looking to do more of the same. First and 10 for the Chargers. Herrera and Rosa in the backfield. There is Adame under center. Moves Herrera in motion from right to left. They're going towards the south end zone. The handoff to Rosa. In between the left tackle and left guard, and a good start there for Rosa as he gets those tough yards. He gets to the Wilcox 48-yard line, a gain of 7 on that play. This will be 2nd and 3. Let's go ahead and give you the Chargers starters on offense. Alex Adame at quarterback, Paul Rosa and Gabe Herrera at running back, Michael Fiawi at tight end, Ryan Cooper Jr. and Jacob Dominguez at receiver, and the offensive line from left to right, Osiris Nico, Ronnie Rodriguez, Hunter Bright, Aaron Avansay, and Scott Smith. 2nd and 3 from their own 48. Here is the snap. They will hand it off straight ahead to Herrera. Follows his blockers and is brought down by a couple of Pally defenders, but that will be enough for a first down. They will stop the clock to move the chains. So methodical work going on here for this Wilcox offense, going up against a Palo Alto defense, which unusually they run a 3-4 style, which is very rare at the high school level.
Yeah, it is very unusual, but credit that Wilcox front line that has done so well all year at moving people out of the way.
1st and 10. They are in plus territory at the Palo Alto 47-yard line. 1st and 10. Handoff straight ahead to Rosa. Going off the left tackle side. He crosses the 45, gets to the 44-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 3 on that play. This will be 2nd and 7. Let's go ahead and introduce the Palo Alto starting defense to you. Defensive linemen will be Lou Passarello and Byron Escarcega at the ends. Nose tackle will be Kevin Griffin. The linebackers are Chris Martinez, Dwayne Trahan, Wes Walters, and Messi Mahi. The corners are Genacio Henley and Damian Richard. And the safeties are Kevin Cullen and Colin Giffen. 2nd and 7 from the Palo Alto 44. Scoreless here in this first quarter, 8:36 and counting. Dame takes the snap. A handoff once again to Rosa, going straight ahead. Bounces off a couple of tacklers, and he crosses the 40-yard line, gets close to the 35. They'll mark him down at the 36. This will be another first down for the Wilcox offense. So a couple of first downs here at the early going, and not quite as fast-paced, but they are very, very methodical on this opening drive.
Yeah, they really haven't run so much of the outside stuff. That was the first thing that they ran that was sort of off tackle. But running between the tackles, they've clearly shown Palo Alto where they're going to come right at them.
Not a lot of window dressing here at the line of scrimmage. Dominguez is at the bottom of the formation. Adame's going to pitch it out to Rosa. He's got a little bit of an edge, and he's got some speed going into the open field. Knocked out of bounds on a hard hit there by Chris Martinez. I believe that was Giffen on the tackle, but Rosa got plenty more to move those sticks ahead. So 3 first downs on this opening drive as Paul Rosa gets them into the Palo Alto red zone, marked them down at the 18-yard line.
I really like that call because it really caused Palo Alto to have to respect the speed to the outside of Rosa, and it was a little bit of a delay option there, and really great call.
5 plays on this opening drive for the Charger offense. They started at their own 41-yard line, and they've made hay out of this one. Adame under center. He's going to take this one himself, fake the handoff to Herrera, and gained maybe 1 yard at that. Didn't get much progress there, but this will be 2nd and 9, and Adame, you don't see them call his number to run the ball very much. He's usually been called upon to just manage the offense and let the skill position players carry a lot of the load, but Adame has been very, very efficient when it comes to throwing the ball. He's only thrown the ball 43 times, but has completed nearly 63% of his passes.
Yeah, he really has, and great leadership. I really like his leadership style on the field.
2nd and 9 from the Palo Alto 18-yard line. And we got some movement at the line of scrimmage. I think they may call Wilcox for a false start, and that's, of course, what they do. So first penalty on either side, and it goes against the Wilcox Chargers. So back them up 5 yards. This will be 2nd and 14, and it will be at the Palo Alto 23-yard line.
Boy, and that's the one thing, Wilcox has really got to watch themselves on their discipline tonight and make sure that they don't give up those easy yards.
So play resumes, 7:18 remaining in the first quarter. 2nd and 14 at the Palo Alto 23. Pitch out to Herrera, tries to bounce outside. He's got some space to work with, but is tackled as he gets into the open field. And that was Colin Giffen once again. Actually, that was Wes Walters on that tackle coming over from the linebacker's side, as Herrera got a little bit back towards the original line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. He'll give him maybe 6 yards on that play. They'll actually give him 7. So this will be 3rd and 7 from the 16-yard line of Palo Alto. Keep in mind, this is very much in Isaiah Flores' field goal range. He does have a big leg, so they will have that option there, but they really want to punch it in here. Adame taking it himself. Thought about pitching it out to Rosa, but tries to take it himself. He's going to be just a bit short on that carry. Probably gets 6 yards on that one. Tackled at the Palo Alto 10-yard line. This will be 4th and 1 coming up. So big decision here for Wilcox head coach Paul Rosa. The temptation probably would be to go for it since you're so close.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you're Rosa, you take the chance and see if you can put it in your big running back's hands here.
The official will be 4th and 2 on that mark. It will be from the Palo Alto 11-yard line. The offense does stay on the field. They will go for Rosa and Herrera in the backfield. They'll hand it off directly to Rosa. Tries to follow his blockers. And this is going to be awful close. I think they may have gotten enough. Hunter Bright emerging from the pile, signaling that they have it. And sure enough, he does. So move those sticks. It's another Charger first down.
Yeah, and really some interesting play selection here where Rosa's challenged him on the outsides, but really stuck to running hard between the tackles.
So this will be 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. This will be the 9th play of this opening drive for the Charger offense. Still scoreless. 5:38 and counting here in this first quarter. Adame back under center. Takes the snap. Takes himself. Here's the pitch to Rosa. Tries to get to the outside and chased down into the backfield. What a play by Kevin Cullen coming in from the safety position. He had that one sniffed out, and Rosa took a huge loss.
Yeah, they clearly have figured that option out, and the safety was right there to bring him down immediately.
Sorry there, Paul. Loss of 6 on that play. 2nd and 15. But Cullen showing a lot of great speed. Again, coming in from that safety position, fighting through some blocks, and really made a great open field tackle.
Yeah, great hit. He had nowhere to go.
Once again, 2nd and 15. Adame under center. Sends Rosa in motion. He's going to split him out to the outside. Here's the handoff to Herrera.
Looks like we got a little laundry right off the bat there.
You are correct on that one. The handoff eventually went to Flores, and he did get to the 10-yard line. However, a flag on that play may have been a false start, and sure enough, that's what they call it. So 2 penalties on this drive for Wilcox, and like you said, Paul, that has been a problem early on in the first half of the season. And with the second half of the schedule being that much tougher, they've really got to get that cleaned up.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, I know Coach Rosa likes to play an aggressive style of football, and he doesn't want to put too much, discipline on that. But boy, it's really killing him.
So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 21-yard line. They've sort of been in and out of the Palo Alto red zone at this opening drive here, but maybe this gives them a little bit more room to work with. Dami takes the snap. There's a play action. Going to go for Cooper Jr. to the end zone, and he's got it. Wilcox Charger touchdown.
And that's the thing about Wilcox. So many weapons. They've got 2 deadly running backs, but Adame's got an arm that is very repeatable. And I don't know, does he kind of remind you a little bit about like Alex Smith, that he can hit that mid-range ball?
A little bit. That's actually a pretty good comparison there. Adame with his first pass of the night, and he hits pay dirt there. 21-yard touchdown pass to the ever-athletic Ryan Cooper Jr. Isaiah Flores lining up for the point after to add an additional point to this one. The snap is good. The kick is on the way, and it is good. And the Wilcox Chargers are on the board as they take an early 7-0 lead. 4:38 remaining here in this first quarter. And despite a couple of hiccups, it was a 10-play drive going 59 yards. They took off a lot of time on that clock, and most importantly, they find the end zone.
Yeah, they sure did. And what I liked about that is they showed a lot of different looks to Palo Alto. They ran inside, they ran outside, and then when Palo Alto thought they were going out to the outside run, Adame surprises them with a really nice crossing pattern connection.
Well, I think the nice thing, too, is just that the play action was so well set up because of all the inside runs and all the option plays. Even though there was one of them that Rosa took a loss of 6 on that play, you can see the entire defense sold out, and it really opened things up. And when you get Cooper on a one-on-one matchup with any corner, that's trouble.
It really is, and I think you're exactly right, Phil. It's that play selection that really set it up, and great execution again by Wilcox.
So a 7-0 lead. Wilcox will send this one away. Henley and Shepard are back to receive for the Palo Alto Vikings. Here is the kick from Flores. Lower line drive kick, and this is going to go off the arms of Shepard. It's going to go out the back of the end zone. It's going to be a touchback, and Palo Alto will once again start on their own 20-yard line. And I have to tell you, a little bit of a surprise that the ball bounced out of Shepard's hands, because I pulled up some highlight tape of Shepard in Palo Alto's matchup against the Climates. He made an Odell Beckham-esque catch with one hand for a touchdown, so his hands are good. So that was a very, very surprising turn of events.
It was kind of an ugly kick, though. I mean, it was kind of a line drive wobbler, and given benefit of the doubt with the lights, might have been a little hard to handle.
So 1st and 10 at the 20, 4:38 remaining as Palo Alto trails 7-0, looking to tie this game up with the second possession of this evening. Jackson Chris under center once again. They will hand it off. Trying to go to the outside, and this is a good run. However, a flag is on the play, and that was Aiden Chang once again taking the handoff, but have to wait and see what the call is. Actually going to be a hold against Palo Alto. Back them up 10 yards. This will now be a 1st and 20.
Yeah, well, that was really a killer. It was a nice run to the outside there, and take it all back and take 10 off of it. So rough start for Palo.
And Chang is such a dynamic weapon for this offense. 91 carries, 577 yards, and 9 touchdowns in the first half of the season. And of course, he's one of the big weapons that Palo Alto has on offense. So Wilcox's front 7 is really going to be in for a stiff test.
Yeah, certainly will.
1st and 20 from their own 10-yard line. You'll hardly ever see Chris take a snap from under center, as he will take the snap. Goes towards the far sideline, looking for his tight end, Passarello, and led him a bit too much toward the far sideline, at least try to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but the pass is incomplete. So this will now be 2nd and 20 with 4:18 to go.
Yeah, and Passarello is a huge target, so if you're going to throw to him, good chance you're going to hit him.
Passarello is athletic as well. He is at tight end, and of course he starts at defensive end, so he is a two-way player. So you can definitely see how athletic he is. They definitely want to feed him the ball. In fact, head coach Nelson Gifford was saying that they pride themselves on being a very balanced attack, but they do have their main weapons that they have as far as this offense goes. Chang going back up the middle on that handoff, and Wilcox was there ready for it. Chang did gain 6 yards on that play, so this will be 3rd and 14. Actually, it's only 3 yards, beg your pardon. So Palo Alto with a 3rd and 17 from their own 13-yard line, and I have to think that there's not a whole lot of plays designed in the playbook for a 3rd and 15 or 17.
No, certainly not when you're back on your own 15-yard line.
3rd and 15. Here is Chris under center. Chang is at his right hip. He drops back. Chris had his pass deflected. It is incomplete. And I believe that was Isaiah Flores who came into the backfield and swatted that one away. So this will be another 3 and out for Palo Alto. They will have to punt this one away.
Yeah, and that Wilcox defense showing its mettle again. You know, that defense has been tough as nails all year, and you got to really respect them.
Well, coming into this one, Wilcox has only allowed an average of 8 points per game, just to give you an idea. Now, granted, a lot of those games were significant blowouts, but nevertheless, when you're averaging less than 10 points allowed per night, that's saying something about your defense.
Certainly is.
Foog takes the snap. He will send this one up. Skies this punt. It's going to land right in front, and it's going to take a Wilcox bounce. That was a little bit unfortunate there for Palo Alto. So Wilcox is going to get the ball in plus territory at the Palo Alto 41-yard line. So if you're Wilcox, this couldn't have started out any better even if you drew it up.
They certainly couldn't. Wilcox got a little bit lucky because there was a Wilcox defender right in the neighborhood where that ball came down. So they're going to have to be a little careful to look up when that ball comes down.
Well, I think, unfortunately, I think Foog was looking for a bit of a more favorable bounce and just didn't get it. It was a good punt, all things considered. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It's just the bounce just ended up working against Palo Alto. So now the Wilcox offense back on the field. 3:30 left to go. They lead 7-0. And the handoff is to Rosa going up the middle of the field, burrowing through that Palo Alto defense. He gains 10 yards, and it's going to be marked a little bit short, but that's something I so admired about Paul Rosa the younger. He is just able to get those tough yards going up the middle. Even with his small frame, he is tough as nails.
He really is, and that's the thing I love about that kid is not only is he blazing fast in the open, but he'll fight for the tough yards.
2nd and 3 coming up. It was a gain of 7 for Rosa. And Herrera will go up the middle following his blockers. He's finally brought down in front of the 25-yard line. Enough for a first down, so Herrera does move the chains. 8-yard gain, and this will be a 1st and 10 from the Palo Alto 26.
You know, we just talked briefly about it, I mentioned earlier, but I really like the way that Adame manages this offense. He shows a lot of poise. He controls the tempo of the game. I think he's a great choice for a quarterback.
1st and 10, 2:33 and counting at the Palo Alto 26. Rosa with the hand up straight up the gut. He breaks a couple of tackles and he is loose. He gets pushed into the end zone. Touchdown, Wilcox Chargers.
Yeah, you know, we just talked about it. He'll hurt you in the middle and he'll hurt you in the secondary. I mean, he can, you know, when he turns on the jets in that secondary, he's tough to run down.
So a hallmark of efficiency for the Wilcox offense. 3 plays, 41 yards, capped off by the 26-yard touchdown run by Paul Rosa. And the extra point is coming up. Isaiah Flores once again out to kick the extra point. Adame is down there for the hold. Flores, a left-footed kicker. The snap is good. The kick is up, and that is also good. And so with the extra point, Wilcox has now stretched their lead to 14-0. And I know this is a bit early on, but this is looking a lot like some of our previous broadcasts, specifically the one against Aragon, where Wilcox, they know how to get off to a fast start, and they're proving it once again.
Yeah, and once they get off to a fast start, they don't let up and they don't look back. And I think that that puts an awful lot of pressure on that Palo Alto offense to find a solution here, because that Wilcox defense will eat you alive.
So even though this has been a good start for Wilcox, it is worth mentioning here that we talked about this when we first introduced the Palo Alto offense. Because of the pace and the style that they play, they could roll up points in a hurry. So the last thing the Wilcox defense wants to do is let up and let them get into a rhythm, because there is one thing about this spread, no huddle type of offense. You probably see it at a lot of the collegiate levels as well. You let these offenses get into a rhythm, everything becomes like clockwork.
Yeah, it really does, and they'll wear you out, and that's the danger, is they will wear you out.
Flores back to kick towards the south end zone. Henley and Shepard back to return again. A saucer-like kick as the ball looked like a UFO going through the sky just the way it was spinning, and it goes into the end zone. So 3 kickoffs and 3 touchbacks for Isaiah Flores.
Yeah, Isaiah Flores has really got a thunderfoot. I mean, that guy, and the thing is great about him, he's also very accurate. I mean, he's almost automatic with the point afters, and we saw him almost make a 40-plus yard field goal a couple weeks back.
He does have the leg, that is for sure. He's proven it time and time again on these kickoffs. 1st and 10 for Palo Alto at their own 20-yard line. Chris takes the snap, rolls to his right, goes to the far sideline, looking for Paul Ty, and there's a flag at the end. It's a little bit late as Ah Sing was on the coverage, but I do think that they are going to get Wilcox for pass interference.
Yeah, it looked like Ah Sing was just maybe a little bit early in getting there. Yep, and they're going to mark it off.
So a very costly penalty there for Wilcox, as aside from that, it was actually very good coverage from Ah Sing, but Paul, I think you talked about it a little bit too. Just a little bit early on closing in on the ball, and it was good aggressive coverage, but maybe a little too aggressive.
That's Wilcox's style, though. They will come at you.
Now it's going to be 1st and 10, move them up to their own 35-yard line. Or a 4-wide look this time, and Chris' pass was very, very shallow there. It landed at the feet of Paul Ty, and he had no chance to get that one, so this will be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and credit Isaiah Passett for being right there in his face and forcing him to throw a little bit sidearm to get that ball off the field. And it looks like we're going to have
I just saw a penalty flag come in towards the Wilcox sideline. Now, I don't know what prompted that. And they were going to get an explanation here from our officiating crew in just a moment. But anytime a flag is thrown near the sideline, it's got to be something against the sideline, but we'll see.
Yeah, usually they're outside the bounds of where they're supposed to be standing when they do that.
So Wilcox's sideline being told to back up a little bit. Yep. 2 penalties already against Wilcox to start this 3rd drive already for Palo Alto. And really for an offense that's struggling at Palo Alto, this is just free yardage.
Yeah, and this is, again, the thing that we've talked about. Wilcox has a tendency to allow their opponents to score, through giving them easy yards on penalties. Ooh,
and this one is really going to hurt, and this is a penalty of the 15-yard variety. So Palo Alto, unfortunately for Wilcox at least, fortunately if you're Palo Alto, this is a gift for you right here. 30 yards, and you haven't really had to run a play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris looking over the middle, and I think that was his
penalty.
His target, Rosenthal. Rosenthal made the catch, and yet another flag coming in from the secondary. This is unbelievable. And they're pointing in Wilcox's direction. This looks to be another penalty. Let's see the call.
Oh, it's pass interference Palo Alto.
Wow, okay, well. The early indicator from one of the line judges that he was pointing in Wilcox's direction. So we thought it was going to be pass interference against them, but not to be. Offensive pass interference against Palo Alto. So flags flying all over the place here tonight, and it's not just the fact that there's a lot of wind blowing here, but offensive pass interference nonetheless. So it seems like we've had 3-4 penalties already here. So a little bit of a sloppy sequence here.
Really is. That referee's getting a workout with throwing all that laundry around.
So this will officially be a 1st and 25 from their own 35-yard line. So that 15-yard pass interference really hurts. Chris takes the snap, looks to his right immediately, in and out of the hands of Rosenthal, and that looked to be Ah Sing there with the coverage.
and pretty good coverage. He was right there in front of it, and that ball was not going to be caught. It was going to be intercepted, if anything.
So with that incompletion, the clock stops at 2:07 to go. Still second and 25 from their own 35-yard line. They have to get to the Wilcox 40 for a first down. Most importantly, they have to get on the board here because they're already down 14-0. Chris back in the shotgun. Looks to his left and finds Shepard on the screen, and they rule it's an incompletion, and it was a forward pass, so that was the right call. Isaiah Flores was there to scoop up the loose ball, but it was an incompletion in and out of the hands of Shepard, who unusually is having a very difficult time out there.
Yeah, he has been, and again, Palo Alto seems to be a little bit out of sequence. That ball was thrown a little bit early, and I think he just wasn't quite turned and ready set for it.
So 3rd and 25 for this Palo Alto offense that has just I think you said it, Paul, they look a little discombobulated out there, but they will go back to their 3-wide set. There is Shepard one-on-one with Cooper. That's a matchup I've been looking forward to seeing all week. Move Passarello in motion left to right. Early movement, that's going to be a false start on Palo Alto. Paul, at this rate, I think I'm about to lose track of all the penalties. It's kind of a good thing you're keeping a running tally for me here.
Yeah, it's this has probably been the sloppiest sequence I think I've ever seen. Because I think we've had about 6 penalties just on this one sequence.
My goodness. And we're getting into the thick of league play now, which has to be a concern. I don't care which team you're
Oh, no, they cannot allow this.
Well, even with all that, still 2:01 left here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 30 for the Palo Alto Vikings. Chris takes the snap, looks to his left, trying to force it to Shepard, and that was a bad idea. Shepard had triple coverage. Cooper Jr. had that interception slip out of his hands, but it is incomplete. And so once again, Palo Alto not able to get a first down outside of a couple of penalties, and they will have to punt this away for the 3rd time.
Boy, Phil, I got to say, that Wilcox coverage was textbook. There were 3 guys right there on that ball, and that guy there was no chance that thing was going to get completed.
It was almost as if they had Shepard bracketed.
They sure did. They had a posse surrounded him.
So Cooper Jr. and Rosa are back to receive the punt. Here is Tyler Fu, who has been getting quite a workout early on here. This is the 3rd punt he will send away. And this is a skied kick. Rosa's going to wait for a fair catch and gets it at their own 36-yard line, and that is where the Wilcox offense will take over. They lead 14-0 with 1:49 remaining here in this first quarter.
Yeah, despite some of the sloppiness, I mean, again, you see that Wilcox defense just being tenacious. You know, they hung together, and you know, they got a break from a big penalty from Palo Alto, but they absolutely did a great job coming up with the stop.
So 1st and 10, Wilcox at their own 35-yard line. And this is an end around, and this is going to be Cooper Jr. He slips and cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by number 10, Wes Walters, behind the line of scrimmage. That is a loss of 1 on the play, so 2nd and 11. You see the design of that play starting to develop, but Cooper Jr.'s footwork betrayed him.
Yeah, and this is, you know, this is the time of night when that field gets a little bit slick and it transitions from nice dry footing to being a little slip.
2nd and 11, loss of 1 on the play for Cooper Jr. Here is Adame back under center, trying to stretch this to a 3-touchdown lead. And that is Rosa trying to get at least back to the line of scrimmage, but surrounded immediately by a crew of Palo Alto defenders. That was Passarello, who eventually dragged him down back to the line of scrimmage there, but he did get some forward progress, a gain of 3 on that play, so this will be 3rd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, we'll see if Paul Rosa decides to air it out again and see if he can maybe take advantage of that Palo Alto defense.
Well, 3rd and 9, you would think a pass play is coming. 38 seconds left here in this first quarter. Wilcox up 14-0. And Adame with the pitch out to Herrera this time. Tries to get to the edge. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's going to be awful close to that first down marker. They're going to mark him a couple yards short. Tackled right around the 44-yard line based on the line judge at the far sideline. And this is going to be another interesting call for head coach Paul Rosa. Actually, it's even shorter than I initially had guessed. So this will be a 4th and 2 from the Wilcox 43-yard line. Clock is stopped at 28.7 seconds. Both teams still have 3 timeouts right now. The offense is still out on the field, so they will be going for it. Here's Adame under center. Dominguez is at the bottom of your screen here in this formation. Ooh, little movement there by the Palo Alto defense. Hand off up the middle to Herrera. Easily got the first down, crosses the 45-yard line, gets to the 48, and moved those sticks. Gabe Herrera churning his way, doing the grunt work there. 1st and 10 for Wilcox.
And, both coaches have made guts calls on 4th down to decide to leave their offense on the field, and this time it paid off again for Paul Rosa.
Ball officially marked at the 48-yard line. 15 seconds left here in this first quarter. Wilcox off to a very strong start. 14-0 lead over the Palo Alto Vikings. This will probably be the last play of the first quarter. Hand off to Rosa. And actually, Adame decided to keep it. Palo Alto claims that they have the football. And they thought the ball was on the ground. And they do. It's a fumble recovery for Palo Alto. Adame loses the ball. Palo Alto recovered it. And I believe that was Kevin Giffen on the recovery. And a big turnover for Palo Alto. The first one they forced all night. And great field position for them to take over at.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the Achilles heels of Wilcox is keeping the handle on the ball.
Here's a snap to Christ. Oh, and a great coverage there by number 15, Robert Padilla. He was out there in coverage, batting that one away from Paul Ty, and that is how this first quarter will end on that incomplete pass. So outside of that fumble recovery from Palo Alto, a good start for the Wilcox Chargers as they lead 14-0 over the Palo Alto Vikings. But Paul, I had to tell you, with that fumble lost and the field position that Palo Alto has, they have to think that they may feel like they're back in this game now.
Yeah, I certainly think so, and that's one of the dangers about mistakes with a good team like this, particularly one that's as fast and explosive as Palo Alto. You got to figure they can hurt you if they get rolling.
Getting rolling is exactly what Palo Alto wants to do. They will flip the end zone that they will be going towards. So they will be going towards the south end zone from our left to our right. And you have to think it's only a matter of time before quarterback Jackson Chris, who has performed so well this entire season, if he starts getting going, Wilcox defense better buckle up.
Absolutely. I mean, he has put up some big numbers this year. So he is unlike anything they faced this year.
You were talking about numbers. He is coming into this one, completed 60% of his passes, 1,168 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So he has performed quite well in this new offense. 2nd and 10, and he is dragged down. He's going absolutely nowhere. Tried to fight through the tackle, and he was not going to be denied. Samuel Alolo and Rohan Pulavati combined for a party in the backfield.
Boy, that was a posse that came after him. I mean, it was an absolute jailbreak through the front line, and he had nowhere to go.
And it was as soon as Chris got that snap, the rush was already there. It's like he had no time to make his reads.
He literally looked up, and that guy was there.
So they will substitute Samuel Alolo for Tyler Rowland. He's been getting a lot of playing time as of late. Chris looking towards the near sideline, trying to look for Rosenthal over the middle. Cannot hold on to it. It is incomplete. So this will be third down. This will be 4th down. So scoreboard was a little bit behind on that one. But despite the great field position, another punt for this Palo Alto offense. So by my count here, this is their 4th possession of the night. Each one has ended in a punt.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I don't know if you saw the penetration in the Palo Alto backfield, but he had no time.
Well, the defense definitely picking up Wilcox from that unfortunate fumble recovery. Foog will sky this punt up, and Rosa calls for the fair catch, and the Wilcox offense going back onto the field. And how much of a conversation do you think that Alex Adame had as far as ball security goes after that last sequence?
Well, I'm sure there was a long conversation with Coach Rosa about that, about keeping the football in check, because the last couple games, Wilcox has put the ball on the ground a couple of times.
So with that punt, it will be 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line as we're about a minute into the second quarter. Wilcox still holding on to a 14-0 lead, but caught a break here on that turnover, and another flag comes in, and it was near the line of scrimmage, so I'm guessing this is going to be a false start. And indeed, that is the call. False start against Wilcox. Back them up 5 yards. So this will be 1st and 15 from their own 15-yard line. And Wilcox calling a timeout, and I think this is going to be one of those times where head coach Paul Rosa may have to give his teams a little bit of tough love. What do you think?
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, you cannot have those drive-killing penalties, and especially when it puts you back on your own 15-yard line and 15 yards to a first down.
Well, it seems like the Wilcox offense is starting to lose their rhythm just a little bit. I don't know if maybe just the penalties that have been going on, but you can tell it looks a little bit different from how the first quarter was starting out. It seemed like they were just dialing anything up that they wanted. They were getting all the yards that they could have their heart's desire to. And really at this point, I don't know if maybe just the fumble or what, but so far they just look out of sync.
Yeah, it really looks like they lost their sense of urgency. You know, so they got to get that back, and they've got to find some fire here, or they're going to find themselves in trouble.
So this will be a 1st and 15 as we emerge from the timeout. Wilcox with 2 timeouts remaining here in this first half. Here is Adame back under center. Looking to get things going here for the Chargers. Rosa with the handoff, and he was promptly met by the Palo Alto defense. And it looked to be Genacio Henley coming in from the corner position to make the tackle. So gain of 1, it will be 2nd and 14 for Wilcox. .10:38 and counting here in this first half. Cooper Jr. and Dominguez are split out wide. The handoff going to Rosa. Actually, that's Gabe Herrera on the handoff. Doesn't really gain much of anything. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, however, so gain of 5 on that play, so this will be 3rd and 9, so a little bit more manageable. But you have to think that with 3rd and 9, a pass play would be coming up.
Yeah, but it's Wilcox, and they have shown no fear of running on a 3rd and long situation. They believe in their running game.
They certainly believe in it, and when it's worked as well as it has, why wouldn't you? 3rd and 9, up the middle to Rosa, and immediately hit over the middle. That looked to be a very, very hard hit. A clean hit, however, as he made himself known to Kevin Cullen, but enough to move the sticks, so this will be another first down for the Wilcox Chargers. But I have to tell you, Palo Alto on their defense, I have been very, very impressed with their safety, Kevin Cullen. He has made some very, very noteworthy plays early on.
He absolutely has, and he'll lay the lumber to you.
Yeah, just ask Paul Rosa. That just happened to him right there. 1st and 10 from their own 30. The wind really starting to pick up here in Santa Clara. Handoff goes to Herrera, trying to go through the interior of the Palo Alto defensive line, and they stood him up immediately. And once again, that is Kevin Cullen, who is right in the middle of things.
Yeah, we've been calling his name a bunch tonight.
That we have, and you can definitely tell Palo Alto is changing some things up as far as their defense goes. We did mention how unusual it was that they run a 3-4 defense, but they're really starting to make some adjustments. They're really starting to stack the box.
Yeah, they are. They're really forcing Wilcox to come at him and see if they can stop him.
Officially a 5-yard gain on that play. 2nd and 5 on this one. Adame is going to keep this one himself, and he's going to get just enough as he crosses the 40-yard line as he's tackled at the 41. This will be enough to move the sticks, so another first down for the Wilcox Chargers. This will indeed be a first down. They'll have the ball at their own 42-yard line, 8:35 and counting as they still lead 14-0 over the Palo Alto Vikings. A good start in the first quarter. getting both of those touchdowns. Now here is Adame back under center. Hands off up the middle once again to Rosa. He's tackled by Walters at the 45-yard line. A gain of 3 on that play, so this will be 2nd and 7. Going back to that methodical pace that worked so well for them in the first quarter. Really trying to go back to that as well. In case you are just joining us, both touchdowns took place back in the first quarter. Wilcox does have a turnover to its credit, however. That fumble lost by Adame on the quarterback keeper on that option. They're looking to really rebound from that one. They shut out Palo Alto on that last possession. Herrera tried to go to the right side, and there was absolutely nothing there. Walters was right there to stop him near the line of scrimmage.
Looks like he may have lost a couple, too.
May have, or if anything, maybe no gain at the absolute best. But you can definitely tell Palo Alto is really starting to catch on to what the Wilcox offense wants to do. And especially after that first quarter, you have to give them some credit. They're figuring things out, and that front seven is really starting to play a lot better.
Yeah, they really are. And they may have to go throw some passes to keep them honest.
3rd and 6 from their own 46-yard line. Bad snap, it's on the ground. Rosa cuts through the middle, and he's into the open field, crosses into the 30, and he is dragged down from behind by Colin Giffen. But Paul Rosa, the streak of lightning here in Santa Clara, gets them into plus territory. Tackled at the 24-yard line, another first down for Wilcox.
Boy, and Paul Rosa will burn you. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
He found the middle of that field, and as soon as he got to that 2nd and 3rd level, they could not wrap him up, and away he went.
Yeah, he gutted it out through that front 7, and once he broke a tackle, it was off to the races.
Certainly a homecoming game that's been highly anticipated for at least a couple of weeks now, and Wilcox is delivering. Handoff to Rosa once again. Goes to the left side of the line, and he's running behind Scott Smith, and why wouldn't you? He's a big boy at 6'5", 280. And he gains 5 yards on that play, so it will be 2nd and 5 at the Palo Alto 19.
Yeah, a couple of plays back, Scott Smith was having a conversation with one of the Palo Alto players, and I was thinking, that's probably won't end well if you get into it with Scott Smith.
Yeah, if you can avoid getting into a conflict with Scott Smith, I would highly, highly recommend it.
Diplomacy is your option.
It's probably your only option. 2nd and 5 from the 15. And this will be Herrera going through the line of scrimmage, and he gets into the deeper into the Palo Alto red zone. This will be another first down, and they tackle him at the 5-yard line. So 10 yards on that play for Herrera. 1st and goal to go from the 4 of Palo Alto. You know what, as much as we gave Palo Alto's front 7 a lot of credit for trying to make some adjustments, it seems like Wilcox is responding in kind.
Yeah, they really are, and they're, you know, but sticking to their recipe, they're going to play smash mouth football.
1st and goal for Wilcox on the Palo Alto 4. Herrera takes the handoff, and nice stop there by the front 7 of Palo Alto. As they stood up Herrera before he could get anywhere. Maybe gave him a gain of 1 yard at that. Actually, they're going to call it for no gain on that play. And that was Seattle Millar, who was in on the stop. He wasn't listed as a starter for Palo Alto, but he's seen a lot of playing time early on for this Palo Alto defense that really needs a spark.
Yeah, they really need to find something here because you let Wilcox get 21-0, and it's going to be a long night.
11th play of this drive for Wilcox. 2nd and goal to go from the 4. Here is Adame with the snap. He's going to take it himself. Tries to get around left tackle. There is a flag that comes in. It's right now a touchdown for Wilcox, but you may want to curb your enthusiasm there. This may be coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back. That's definitely against Wilcox. It looked like probably holding.
Unfortunately, there might have been a hold on Scott Smith because Adame was coming around the left side, and that's where Smith is playing. Of course, when you have tackles as big as Scott Smith and Osiris Nico are, gives you a lot of options as to where you can run. But unfortunately, Smith is going to get flagged for holding on that play. So that's a loss of 10 on that one. So it will still be second and goal, but now they got to take it in from the 14. 4:30 remaining here in this first half. It's still 14-0 Wilcox. Homecoming 2018. With this highly anticipated matchup here in Santa Clara. Adame under center with the play action. Go over the middle to Flores, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Wilcox Chargers.
Boy, really nicely executed, and you know, Wilcox. I don't think we've seen a punt out of them all night, have we, Phil?
I think you would be correct. And how's this for efficiency for you? Adame, 2 for 2 for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
You'll take that every night, won't you?
All day, every day.
So it's now 20-0 in favor of Wilcox. Flores, who just caught that touchdown, is back out to kick the extra point. Adame, who threw it to Flores, is going to serve as the holder. Here is the snap. The kick is on the way, and it is up through the uprights.
And hit the camera.
And hits the camera pole. I don't think you get any extra points for that, but you can probably use that as bragging rights at this point. But there's a lot of bragging that can be done here for the Wilcox Chargers as they now stretch their lead to 21-0 with 4:14 left to go. However, a little bit of concern here as I'm looking at the Wilcox sideline. I see Aaron Abendsay is on the trainer's table, and he's got an ice bag on his right ankle, which cannot be a good sign. So you're hoping it's not too serious. But Abendsay was a first-team All Deanza League selection last year, and he's definitely been a big reason as to why both the offense and defense have been playing so well. So you hope that Abendsay is not injured too seriously.
Yeah, you know, he looks like he's got that ankle taped, and they may be just icing it a little bit to relieve some of the pressure on the tape. So hopefully that's all it is, and he's back out there the next series. But my gosh, the Wilcox efficiency, how many times have we talked about this? You know, 100% efficiency scores in the first half.
Well, they've had the ball 4 times, and they've scored 3 touchdowns and lost 1 possession for a fumble. But all in all, not too much to complain about if you are the Wilcox Chargers. And here is Shepard with the return coming out from the 1-yard line. He's got some good speed. He's going to make a couple of spin moves, gets to the 30-yard line, and that is where he will be brought down by the special teams unit. And so for the first time tonight, Palo Alto will not start at their own 20.
Yeah, that's unusual. You can definitely tell he's kicking into the wind because that took just a little bit off the ball and allowed Palo Alto to field that thing and make a decent return of it.
So Palo Alto takes over at their own 31-yard line. And keep in mind, they did receive the kickoff at the open of this game. And so with that, Wilcox will get the ball starting the second half. So they have to think this is a must-score possession for Palo Alto here as their offense takes the field.
Yeah, you can't go in 21-0 on Wilcox.
Handoff to Chang, bounces out beyond left tackle, makes a nice stiff arm, crosses the 50, and Malvini at the far sideline knocks him out of bounds at the 40, and all sorts of laundry coming in. My goodness, what is going on?
This looks like it might be a personal foul because there was a little extracurricular activity going on the Palo Alto sideline.
Well, it was a great run by Chang either way. He got to the edge and went to the far sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line if it stands. But with all these flags, we got to make sense of all this laundry that's out there. And I'm sure we're going to have a very short dissertation as to how many penalties and what happened here.
Yeah, there was this actually may be an offsetting thing because there may have been stuff on both sides of the ball that went on there.
We're still awaiting word from our officiating crew. As you mentioned, Paul, they've had a lot of workouts already with all the flags they've been throwing.
Yeah, they may need to ice their arms at halftime.
At the very least, they may need to just dip their shoulders in an ice bath when they get home.
Yeah, they certainly will tonight.
And it looks like we'll make sense of it. Here's the call.
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness. So with all that said and done, offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties, and Ryan Cooper Jr. has been ejected from the game. I'll tell you what, that hurts. And we got another flag that comes in. Another flag from the line judge.
Yeah, somebody may have said something on the way off.
It might have, but I'll tell you what, Ryan Cooper Jr. is beside himself. Both his parents coming over to try to console him, but I'll tell you what, I can't really blame him. This is his senior year, his final homecoming game as a Wilcox Charger, and he's been ejected from the game. I mean, it's got to be disheartening. I don't know what happened out there, but obviously he is upset about something.
Yeah, and that's a killer because he's a big player, you know, not just on defense, but, you know, he's had a couple of key catches on offense. So
that he has. So that not only hurts on both offense and defense. So now you got to really get a test of your depth here. So Jacob Dominguez is going to come in and take some snaps at corner to replace the now ejected Ryan Cooper Jr. And none of the Wilcox fans are too happy, and you can't really blame them because this really just opened up a door for Palo Alto now.
Yeah, you really do, because not only do you give them great field position, they got somebody new to pick on.
Chris rolls to his right. He's feeling the pressure, and he gets a couple of hits, and Pulivati lowers the boom on him. So Chris does gain 5 yards on that play, but Pulivati made sure he felt it.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about that is Wilcox's front seven, you know, decided to pick up the pass rush and put some heat on him.
Handoff now to Chang, gets outside right tackle, tries to get to the edge and gets to the 10-yard line. And Rosa was there to make the tackle, but it was enough for Palo Alto to get a first down. So Palo Alto may feel like they have a little bit of life here with 3:25 remaining in this first half, and now you're seeing the no-huddle offense really starting to take shape. And we've got a timeout on the field. This will be a timeout for Wilcox, and this may be a well-timed stoppage here by head coach Paul Rosa, because I can probably guess that the entire defense is maybe a little shell-shocked at the Cooper Jr. ejection, which I can't really blame him either way. But unfortunately, with the way football is, this has got to be a next man up. So really, now that Cooper is out of the game, both on offense and defense, who do you think really has to step up at this point?
You know, it's really got to be, you know, on offense, you know, their running backs have to carry the load and really pick it up. But, you know, on defense, it's Rosa. I mean, Rosa's got to step it up and fill in for that other corner spot, or free safety spot.
Well, Dominguez is in at corner now, and Dominguez is typically their starting wide receiver, but he's going to be called to do double duty the rest of the way with the Cooper Jr. ejection. So we'll see how he does now that he's pressed into corner duty. So coming out of the timeout, 3:20 and counting remaining, first and goal from the 10 for Palo Alto, and Chris cannot get anything going. Bounces that throw to Shepard at the far sideline. It's incomplete. It's now 2nd and 10. Clock stops at 3:16 to go.
And another penalty.
Another penalty. It's unbelievable what's going on out there. And Rohan Pulivati is throwing his hands up in the air going, geez, what's going on? And I can't say I blame him.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to plead his case out there, but to no avail. They're going to be marching off some yardage here.
You know, I have to tell you, I believe that's the third unsportsmanlike penalty I've heard called against Wilcox tonight. My math may be wrong here, but that's a little bit much.
It really is. That's 45 yards in penalties.
Oh, gosh.
And Paul Rosa Sr. has got to get control of these guys, or they're going to give the game away.
I can tell you, at least for the Wilcox fans, that they have to be wondering what in the world's going on here. I can't really say I blame them either.
No,
And this will be 2nd and goal to go from the 5-yard line. Chang takes the handoff, tries to go towards left tackle, and he's met immediately by a swarm of black and gold, and that was Brizuela leading the charge on that tackle. So I have to give Wilcox defense a lot of credit, and they did force Palo Alto into a third down. But really at this point, you have to look at it. If Wilcox is able to hold Palo Alto to a field goal, or at least hold them out of the end zone and turn the ball over on downs, you got to consider that a win.
I mean, given what's happened here, that's the best you can hope for.
So no gain officially on that handoff to Chang. 3rd and goal to go from the 6-yard line. Palo Alto desperately needing some points heading into halftime. Wilcox is trying to keep him out of the end zone. We do hear a whistle. There's a timeout on the field. Not sure if Palo Alto called a timeout or if there's...
It's like an official's timeout.
Something to do with the spot of the ball, perhaps. And now we have a official timeout for Palo Alto. So, after all the sound and fury, maybe signifying nothing, timeout for Palo Alto. 2:34 left to go here in this one. Trailing 21-0, but knocking on the door of finally dropping that goose egg off the scoreboard here. And heading into halftime, I think you said it, Paul, they can't go down into halftime 21-0, especially when you consider that Wilcox is going to get the second half kickoff sent to them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't let Wilcox have it hold you to nothing in the first half, because that's a long hill to climb on the second side of the game. On Wilcox's side of the ball, they got to shake off the loss of Cooper. They got to get their discipline back, and they got to start firing on all cylinders again.
Well, that's definitely going to be a challenge for the second half of this one. Although I'm going to go a little bit of a different route as far as who could step up. I think it's got to be Jacob Dominguez. This is his opportunity that he's now going to become the main receiver of this offense. This is his chance now.
I think you're right. I got to go with you on that one.
Chris looking to the end zone, and I think that Shepard who went up and got it, he gets it. It's a touchdown for Palo Alto.
So again, Phil, I hate to beat this horse, but I mean, that whole drive was set up by Wilcox penalties.
It was, absolutely. So it's now 21-6. And that was Shepard on the catch. He made a great play on that. So Palo Alto finally on the board. Tyler Foog is out there for the point after. The kick is up, and it is through, and it is good. So with 2:28 remaining, Palo Alto finally on the board. They trailed 21-7, and really after all that, I think everybody's head spinning, to say the least.
Oh, I gotta go with you on that, Phil. I mean, it was really kind of a mind-blowing drive, because Wilcox has shown the ability to control the line of scrimmage, and they had a couple of breakdowns, mental breakdowns with penalties, and suddenly they put Palo Alto in the red zone. So they got to get back in the game. They got to stop making these basic mistakes and really force Palo Alto to win the game, not give it to them.
Well, I can tell you this much. I am almost positive that halftime meeting for Wilcox is going to be a bit interesting. They've got a lot of positives that they can draw from, that's for sure. You're up 21-7, but all of the penalties, it's just unbelievable what's been going on. I mean, and really, I think you said it too, Paul, that touchdown by Palo Alto, they don't get as close as they get without those penalties. They really don't.
No, they should really send them a thank you note.
So here is Tyler Foog with the pooch kick. They send this one a bit of a shallow way there. Diego Castillo will field it at the 23-yard line. Tries to make some hay out of this one. Castillo's trying to get to the edge, and he is tackled at the 30-yard line, and the ball comes out, but they do mark it dead. And that was Foog who made the tackle. Look at the kicker getting in there.
And a really nice hit, but he made a nice break to the outside and almost turned the corner on that thing.
Well, Castillo trying to make something out of nothing there. That was in total a 9-yard kick return, but it was a very exciting 9 yards.
It really was.
So So officially 1st and 10 from their own 31. And that is where Wilcox will take over. 2:20 remaining here in this first half as they lead 21-7. Handoff up the middle to Rosa. Rolls his way over beyond the 35-yard line to the 36, as that was Wes Walters who made the tackle. So gain of 5 yards on that play. This will be 2nd and 5, 2:03 left to go. And really, if you're Wilcox, you're not in much of a hurry, but I'm sure you'd love to double dip here with a touchdown at the end of the half.
Yeah, and I've never seen them quit, so.
Hey, Herrera on the handoff, gets to the 41-yard line. And awful close to a first down. They're going to mark him about a yard short on that one. So this will be 3rd and 1, 1:37 to go. Maybe they want to get into field goal range for Isaiah Flores before halftime. Who knows? Hand off to Herrera, and he bounces all the way to the near sideline, crosses the 50 to the 45, tries a spin move, still taking a couple tacklers with him, and gets to the 40-yard line. Gabe Herrera, what a run by the starting fullback. He gets out of bounds, stops the clock at 1:19, and really got a shot of energy into that Wilcox sideline that really, really needed it.
Yeah, they sure did. But the thing I loved is they stood him up, stopped him. He did not have an ounce of give up. He just kept churning.
Ball now at the Palo Alto 40-yard line. The clock resumes running, 1:16 to go before halftime. Rosa with the handoff up the middle, gets to the 35, takes a couple of Palo Alto defenders with him, down to the 34-yard line. And I believe he took Kevin Cullen with him as well, which is not an easy task because Cullen has been playing so well at the safety position.
Yeah, he really has. He's come up and made some really strong hits this first half.
So 2nd and 3. We're at the Palo Alto 34-yard line. Here is the pitch to Rosa, tries to get to the edge. He's going to have a first down and a whole lot more. Gets out of bounds around the 20-yard line and stops the clock. So a very smart play by Paul Rosa to get out of bounds, got to the edge and got the first down and a lot more. And he was marked down at the 22-yard line. And with 39.6 seconds left, you really got some good options here because you're actually well within Isaiah Flores' field goal range.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from here, the only thing is that he's going to be kicking into the wind, but, it certainly is a doable do for Isaiah from this range.
So Palo Alto will call a timeout. They have one remaining. Wilcox still has one timeout to spare here in this first half, so they do have that if they want. So with them being at the Palo Alto 21-yard line, you have to think for this next play, the middle of the field is still open to them if they wanted to attack that. But I'm sure they want to spare that timeout for as long as they can. But with 39.6 seconds left, you got 21 yards to travel. There's a lot of good options left for Wilcox to end the half with.
And they've got all the right weapons for it.
True.
I mean, they can run, either Herrera or Rosa up the middle, and both of those guys are explosive runners that can do a lot of damage in a real hurry.
Well, we saw how much damage both Herrera and Rosa can do. It's like their own version of thunder and lightning.
Really is.
So they're going to split Rosa out wide on this one, and Nathan Santos is seeing some playing time at receiver now. Remember, in case you're just joining us, Ryan Cooper Jr. ejected from the game for an unsportsmanlike penalty.
And Rosa's their second leading receiver on the team.
That he is. Adame under center. He's going to drop back. It's a traditional throw. Going over the middle and overshot Rosa. The Wilcox sideline wants a flag. They're not going to get it. And Colin Giffen on the coverage. He was able to really track that one down. And it was a little bit slow getting up, but all in all made a great play.
Yeah, I think if you're Wilcox, you call the police because I think they got robbed on that. He was there early, and I from where I saw the vantage point, there was contact before the ball that interfered with it.
Well, there's a saving grace to that. The clock is stopped with 34.9 to go, so that does give them some options as to what they can do. Santos and Rosa split out wide to the left. Screen pass to Rosa out in the flat and brought down almost immediately by Colin Giffen once again. This is going to force Wilcox to use a timeout because Rosa could not get out of bounds. However, Rosa did get a little bit closer. They're going to mark him at the 16-yard line. Bit tough to tell on the down marker from our vantage point. Everything is in a little bit of an angle, but that timeout will stop the clock at 28.7 seconds to go. And that timeout did come in handy.
So what do you think? Do you think they take a shot at the end zone on this one or the next play?
You know what? My guess, if I had to make it, I'm tempted to call this 4-down territory. But I would tell you this too. We've already seen that Adame's got the arm to take a shot at the end zone.
Yep.
So with them being at the 15-yard line, I would say, why not?
I like that call. You know, let Adame air it out and see if you pick up 7, and then bring your kicker out for the 3 if you don't get it.
Well, then you also have Fiawi, who is in at tight end now. Could give you a different option, a little bit of a different look too.
Absolutely.
So let's see what they dial up here. 3rd and 4. They're at the Palo Alto 16-yard line. 28.7 seconds to go. No timeouts left. Adame drops back, looking over the middle, taking a shot at the end zone, and nobody around. Dominguez was the closest one, but he was double covered by Palo Alto defenders. So 4th down and 4. The clock will stop at 24.1 seconds, and my guess is the field goal unit might be coming out.
Yep, it looks like they got the kicker out there, so we'll see if he's got the leg to put this through.
Well, Isaiah Flores is 3 of 4 kicking field goals on the season. His long is 30, but my hunch is with the way he's been booting kickoffs into the end zone, his leg is a lot bigger than that. This will be a 33-yard attempt. He will be kicking into the wind, so we're going to have to put a little force on this one. The kick is a low line drive, and I believe that was deflected. I think Aiden Chang got into the backfield and deflected that one. The kick is no good because that did not look normal coming off the leg.
No, it wasn't. You could actually hear the ball contact somebody's hand. I think you're right. It was Aiden Chang that he got a piece of that thing.
So a missed opportunity for Wilcox as Palo Alto will take over at their own 20-yard line. 22.3 seconds to go. They do have one timeout. Let's see what they can do with this last possession here. Christ on a bubble screen. Couldn't tell if that was Shepard or Passarello. And it looks like that was Shepard on the play. 5-yard catch, was a little slow to get up. Unfortunately, I think that's going to prompt. And actually, with that, that's the way the first half will end. So a little bit of an unusual ending there for how things went. But all in all, not too bad if you are the Wilcox Chargers. However, some major adjustments are going to have to be made here. And as we head into halftime, it is your Wilcox Chargers 21, the Palo Alto Vikings 7.
Thank you, Song Palm. Next up is going to be the Chargerettes. Thank you, Chargerettes. All right, and let's give it up for our varsity sideline cheer team. Start again, start again, start again. Come on down, start again. Here we go, get set, let's go. All right, your music is on.
multiple 200-yard game nights.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, I don't think he's thrown for more than 50 or 60 yards so far, if that. So really, they've the Wilcox defense has told the story as it has most of the season.
It really has, and we did touch on how dominant Wilcox's defense has been, and kind of to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt as well, because outside of Valley Christian, the margin of victory has been very lopsided. And we did touch on that a little bit at first. So we were going into this game thinking that Palo Alto was going to be one of the stiffer competitions they have faced in recent weeks. And given the way this defense has performed and the way they've been able to really disrupt Jackson Christ's timing, that has really been a big key for them. And it really has played a big difference as to why they're up 21-7.
No, it absolutely has, Phil. I think you're dead right on that. Jackson just hasn't looked like himself all night, and you've seen just a bunch of really simple timing routes not be there.
And if the last name Chris does sound familiar, it should. His older brother, Keller Christ, also a Palo Alto alum, went on to play at Stanford. So there's a little bit of a backstory for you.
Yeah, just crossed the street, basically.
Exactly. So we're ready for the kickoff to start the second half. Palo Alto kicking off from right to left. They will kick towards the north end zone. Diego Castillo and Paul Rosa back to return this kick. This is going to be a bit of a pooch kick instead. And this is fielded by Isaiah Flores at the 35-yard line. Actually, 25-yard line. And he makes a little something happen here, taking it up to the 37. And that is where Wilcox will start to begin the second half.
So, Phil, do you get the sense that they're not kicking it to Paul Rosa back there, that they're intentionally kicking it short?
That, I think, is intentional.
Yeah.
I think they've seen how Rosa's foot speed is, and I don't think they want any part of it.
I don't think they want to deal with it. I think you're right.
So Wilcox will take over at its own 37-yard line. Could be a big possession here with them up 21-7 as we begin the third quarter. Here is Adame back under center. And the handoff once again to Rosa. Gets his way up the middle to the 45-yard line. Dragged down to the 46. Tackle made by Kevin Cullen on that play. 9-yard gain on that one. Makes it 2nd and 1.
So again, Paul Rosa Jr. just squirting up the middle and really gritting through those tough yards that we've seen him do so many times. But don't let him put you to sleep. He'll burn you in the secondary.
He's done that to this Palo Alto defense a couple of times already, so you almost kind of think they're lulling him to sleep for the big hit. 2nd and 1. Here is the snap. Herrera takes it straight up the gut, crosses the 50-yard line, following the block of Scott Smith, gets into Palo Alto territory for a first down, and that is going to be to the Palo Alto 47.
And this feels sort of like deja vu from the first half with the 1-2 Rosa Herrera punch.
It sounds very, very familiar. Clock keeps rolling, 11:08 and counting. Another first down as they are working like clockwork here. Herrera takes the snap and the handoff once again. It runs right into the arms of nose tackle Kevin Giffen. And Herrera did push him forward for a couple of yards across the 45-yard line to the 44. So that is a gain of 4 on that play. So this will be a 2nd and 6 coming up.
And that's a load to push forward. Kevin Giffen's
he's a big man.
He's a big man.
Of course, with that 3-4 defense, you need your nose tackle to be one of the bigger guys on defense, and he's done a nice job for them all season long. 2nd and 7 now for Wilcox. Handoff to Rosa once again, and he is tackled essentially in the backfield by Messi Mahe. Gained about 2 yards on that play, so this will be 3rd and 5, but we haven't called Mahe's name very much at all tonight, and it's a bit unusual because he's one of their team leaders in sacks with 3. So if you want an idea as to how much Palo Alto has struggled with getting pressure on Adame, a quarterback, there's an indication. 3rd and 3 from the Palo Alto 40-yard line. Turns around, hands it off to Rosa, slips through, gets a first down and a lot more across the 40-yard line, gets to the 35, and moves the chains once again. This will be another first down.
Yeah, that quick off-guard counter has been one of Wilcox's bread and butters, and they can run that about as well as anybody in the league. Yeah, I was just looking at the stats on that. Kevin Giffen is listed at north of 6 feet and 294 pounds.
Whew. That's a lot of mountain of man to move.
It certainly is.
Adame on the keeper. Plows his way to the 30-yard line, and that's where he will be tackled. And that was the safety Kevin Cullen on the tackle. So 5-yard gain on that one. 2nd and 5. This will be from the Palo Alto 30.
Yeah, they've been showing a lot more of that keeper this time than I remember them running in weeks past. And got to figure that's all part of the design to keep the Pally offense or defense off balance.
We're showing them a lot of different looks, so we will see how this develops. 2nd and 5 from the 30. They move Herrera in motion.
Offsides.
And movement on the line. That was Scott Smith with a little bit of an early start, and they're going to get him for a false start.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, you know, as an offensive lineman, sometimes if you know you got to reach a linebacker, you want to get that little bit of extra start, and Mr. Smith got caught there trying to get a little bit of jump on the ball.
Well, this will back them up 5 yards, so this is a 2nd and 10 from the Palo Alto 35-yard line. Dominguez and Santos at wide receiver. In case you're just joining us, there was no Ryan Cooper Jr. for the rest of this game since he was ejected for an unsportsmanlike penalty. Rosa takes the handoff back to the 30-yard line and a little bit more. Gets tackled at the 29, so this will be a 6-yard gain. Count this up as a 3rd and 4 for the Wilcox offense. 8:18 and counting here in the 3rd quarter.
When you look at that, that's really an impressive feat for the Wilcox offense, that they can go from 2nd and 10 to 3rd and manageable with a run.
Ball officially marked at the 27. This will be a 3rd and 3. Herrera takes the handoff. Was not brought down. He landed on top of a Palo Alto defender and kept the legs going. Look at him taking all these Palo Alto defenders with him, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Holy smokes. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. He just wouldn't give up. If they thought he had him stopped, Palo Alto gave up, and then he just kept rumbling and bumbling to the end zone.
Well, Herrera looked to be down after he got the first down, but got to credit him for the heads-up play. He knew he was not down, got back up, albeit aided from a Palo Alto defender, but he kept the legs moving, and he kept some Palo Alto defenders with him. It's like he was the bus, and he was just taking them for a ride.
He absolutely did. And by the way, right at the end of the first half, he did the exact same thing where Palo Alto thought they had him stopped, and he just kept his feet moving, and he picked up another 7 or 10 yards. So kid does not have any give up.
He runs with power and he runs with authority, and he exercised a lot of both on that play. 27-yard touchdown run for Herrera. The extra point by Flores narrowly blocked, but it is good nonetheless. So a very nice opening statement here in the second half for the Wilcox Chargers. They get that touchdown right back, and they now lead 28-7. 7:49 remaining in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and that's exactly, Phil, what they needed to do there. They needed to come out and make a statement, say, okay, Cooper's behind us. Unfortunately, you know, he's going to spend the night on the bench, but we got other things that we're going to show you. And they've absolutely came out there and just really drove that ball down the field.
And not only did they drive it downfield, it was very much like their opening drive in the first half. It was very methodical. They got 5-6 yards at a time. And with the way they are able to gain that traction with the ground game, they're basically telling Palo Alto, we know you can't stop us, so we're going to keep running it until you do.
Right. And they're absolutely going to force Palo Alto to try and stop them. And, you know, I would say right at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, Palo Alto's front seven seemed to find a little bit of an answer, but they seem to have lost it at halftime.
Well, if you're Palo Alto now that you're down 28-7, you almost have to think that maybe you're going to have to start kicking your 2-minute offense into gear, especially when you see how well Wilcox ran the ball on that last drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is that Pally has that, that no-huddle offense. So it's not unknown to them.
And so this will be Tyler Rowland on the kickoff. Nice boot there on the kickoff, sending it away. This will be in the hands of Henley. Goes towards the far sideline. Look at some speed there by the starting corner. Runs into a wall of black jerseys, however, just short of the 35-yard line, but good start there for the Palo Alto offense is where they will take over. Looks to be the 34, and this is where the offense will come out and take over. So an 8-play, 63-yard drive, ending in a touchdown for Wilcox to get things started here in the second half. And so now we'll see if Palo Alto can respond. They are currently trailing 28-7. They'd love to cut the deficit to 14, and here is the handout to Chang, outside right tackle, and great burst of speed, getting to the outside, tackled at the 45-yard line, more than enough for a first down.
Yeah, and Chang has burned Wilcox a couple of times on those quick outside runs, and uncharacteristic of Wilcox because they usually do such a great job of pursuing from the inside out.
Well, I'm a little surprised they haven't gone to Chang a lot more considering how much success he's had.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I really do think that he's been one of their keys.
Chris with a great throw to Shepard. He gets himself to the Wilcox sideline out of bounds. More than enough for the first down, and just as we were expecting, the Palo Alto offense starting to gain some traction here. Another first down as they get to the Wilcox 40. Here comes that no huddle. They're not allowing Wilcox to get much in the way of substitutions. Chris is going to roll to his right, looks downfield. He's going to take a shot for Ty and makes the catch into the red zone.
Yeah,
well,
really nicely thrown ball.
Well, this is what Wilcox had to be a little bit nervous about. Now Palo Alto's offense is really starting to get some rhythm here. They're now inside the red zone for basically the first time since the second quarter. It was a great throw by Chris on the run as well. 25-yard gain on the play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris takes the snap, looks to his left, completes to Shepard at the near sideline. Nice spin move by Shepard, breaks a couple of tackles, and he takes Rosa with him. It's a touchdown for Shepard, his second of the night.
Yeah, that was a really nicely executed drive, for Palo Alto, and really shows their explosive ability of their offense.
Well, we just saw how well this offense can execute when they get the opportunity. 4 plays for 66 yards in less than 2 minutes. I mean, they wasted no time.
No, they really lit them up on that last series, and Paul Rosa's got to have some worries about that.
Here is the point after by Fogue. It is good, and now Palo Alto, after that touchdown and that extra point, they are now at a 28-14 deficit, and that was actually the right response they needed, and really kicking that 2-minute offense into gear. I think less than 2 minutes went off the clock.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Phil. And for Wilcox, they got to go find that rhythm that their defense had, where they were so disruptive in the first half. That period, it looked like, or that series, it really looked like they were off on their heels. And that's where Jackson Christ will bear you every single time. You give him time, he'll make the play.
Jackson Christ made some great plays on the run and standing into the pocket, and he got rid of that ball quickly. I mean, that is more of the offense that we expected to see with Jackson Christ at the control. That's his second touchdown of the night, but that looked to be a lot more of what we had expected to come in and see tonight.
Absolutely was. I mean, that's what we thought we paid to see tonight, and it's good to see that really explosive Palo Alto offense showing up finally.
Well, this is only the second game in the entire regular season where the Wilcox defense has allowed double digits in points. So tuck that one away as a storyline for later. Tyler Foog with a pooch kick. Malvini fields this one at the 30. And he is going to take this one to the 40-yard line, a 10-yard kick return by the starting safety. And you can really tell this is intentional. They do not want Paul Rosa to have any type of impact in the special teams game.
No, they don't want any part of that. Because, Rosa Jr. is just so explosive, and you give him a chance to get a running start, he'll be off to the races.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I was out there on special teams, I wouldn't want any part of him either. First and 10 from their own 40-yard line. That's where Wilcox will take over. 6:42 left in the third quarter. They lead 28-14 here at homecoming night 2018. Dame takes the snap, goes right to Herrera, and Walter sniffed that one out right at the line of scrimmage. Takes him down for a 1-yard gain and not much else.
Yeah, the Wilcox or the Palo Alto defense was showing blitz there, and it was absolutely the right call because nowhere to go.
Not much there, and you really got to give credit to Walters for sniffing out that play and making that tackle right at the line of scrimmage. 1 yard gain on that play, 6-13 and counting. This will be a 2nd and 9 for the Wilcox Charger offense. Hand off to Rosa once again. Takes a couple of defenders with him across the 45-yard line. He'll get to the 46. Gain of 5 on that play, so this will be 3rd and 5 coming up. And once again, the toughness of Rosa getting those really tough yards, trying to go through a sea of white.
Yeah, but that's, Paul Rosa's bread and butter. I mean, he'll break the big runs, but he does not mind putting his head down and really grinding out those tough yards.
3rd and 5 from the 46-yard line. Definitely a manageable down and distance for Wilcox. And Adame was a little bit indecisive, and he pays for it dearly. He is sacked by Walters near the original line of scrimmage. And a rare phrase that I'm about to say, Wilcox sends the punt team out.
That's the first time we've seen him this year. The punter's probably looking for a part-time job given the first part of this season.
Well, Isaiah Flores, who handles the extra point and field goal and kickoff duties, really, he also serves as the team's punter. So they keep him active in a lot of different ways. But a 3 and out, which is very, very rare, and Palo Alto feels like they may have a chance to get back into this one. 4:50 and counting here in the 3rd quarter. Bit of a high snap. It goes over Flores' head. He has to pick this one up. He can't really have some time to really kick it, and he slips down. He is inside the 25-yard line. Flores is a little slow getting up, but a disastrous sequence of events, and Palo Alto will get the ball in prime territory at the Wilcox 25.
Wow, that was a huge mistake. And really uncharacteristic. Their long snapper's been really good all year, so that's a really unusual. But this shows you that Wilcox is looking a little rattled here, and they better go find themselves.
Well, Palo Alto has a big opportunity to cut this deficit into 1 score. Chris, quick snap to Shepard towards the near sideline, towards the 25, gets to the 20, tackled out of bounds by Rosa at the 15, and looks to be close to enough for a 1st down. Can't really tell by the line judge. It's actually going to be about a yard short, but there you see the quick attack and the connection between Jackson Christ and Jameer Shepard, one of the more potent combinations in the entire section.
Yeah, really well executed play, and Jackson, showing the real precision of his arm there.
Handoff to Cheng, and he gets leveled by Poulavati, blowing through that line of scrimmage, and he was able to lay down the hammer.
Yeah, he absolutely did. That guy's going to be